Let me take acids. Again, as usual. Now, what should happen? Oh, we didn't discuss the periodicity of electronegativity down a group across the period. It's going to be the same as that. Across the period, what happened? Electronegativity increases. Previous property. Across the period, electronegativity increases. Electronegativity increases. Down a group, electronegativity decreases. There is nothing there to explain. Across the period, because atom becomes smaller and smaller. Because of effective nuclear charge increases. Attraction towards the shared pair of electron also will increase. Down a group, it decreases because it becomes bigger and bigger. What is an acid? What is an acidic property? Acids can be explained in terms of what are the definition we saw? Arrhenius theory. Please write it. Arrhenius acids, Bronsted acid, Bronsted and Lowry, and Lewis acid, who can define all the three? We have made an attempt last class itself. Okay, whoever mentioned it. Good.
It's based on the
What is an Arrhenius acid?
which releases H plus ions in water.
Good. The one which produces H plus ion when treated with water. Good. The one which produces H plus ion on treatment with water. HCl plus H2O. Make a note of it. HCl plus H2O giving rise to H3O plus Cl minus ion. We have already mentioned it also. HCl plus H2O, HCl gas plus H2O giving rise to H3O plus ion and Cl minus ion. And this is called hydronium ion, oxonium ion. Production of hydronium ion or oxonium ion, production of hydronium or oxonium ion is responsible for the acidic character. That is an Arrhenius acid. Now, we don't include water here. I told you it's simply proton donors, that's all. Proton donors. Not necessarily water. I can use any other solvent, polar solvents. Water is able, if a compound is able to donate a proton in the presence of any polar solvent, we have to use a polar solvent. I shall come back here. What is meant by a polar solvent and non-polar solvent? I am going to make use of this electronegativity concept there also. Yet another periodic properties. Proton donors and Lewis acids are electron acceptors. There is no proton, but it can still accept an electron. Example, BF3, boron trifluoride. We are going to see the chemical bonding next chapter. And based on the electronic configuration, we are going to prove that BF3 is an example of electron deficient molecule. What are electron deficient molecules? Make a note of this. Electron deficient molecule which have got less than octet, short of octet, less than octet, the central element. Therefore, electron. So, what should be the property of electron deficient molecule? They always have affinity towards this and they are prepared to accept electron. And because they are electron acceptors, they can be considered as an acid, Lewis acid. There is no hydrogen over there, but still it is acidic property. Now, let us compare this acidic property and the basic property. What is a base? Again, Arrhenius definition. Bronsted and definition, Arrhenius basis, the one which supplies the OH minus ion when treated with water. The compound which produces OH minus ion on treatment with water. 2. Proton acceptors, those substances which accept a proton, for example, NH3 is considered as a base because it accepts a proton to form ammonium ion. NH4 plus here. Therefore, it is considered as a Bronsted base. Bronsted base. Ammonia also can be considered as a Arrhenius base, because ammonia on treatment with water, it can give rise to ammonium hydroxide, ammonium plus OH minus ion. We are going to prove that ammonia is also a Lewis acid, Lewis base. And what is going to be a Lewis base here? Electron donors. Electron donor, proton acceptors, electron donors. For example, I got ammonia here, 4 ammonia molecule can react with Cu2 plus. What is the electronic configuration of Cu2 plus? What is the electronic configuration of copper? Who knows it? Raise your hand. 3D10? Modified Aufbau principle, 29. 3D10 4s1. It is as per the Aufbau principle, 3D9 4s2. Isn't it? Why do you modify it?
Sir, to attain the stability, sir.
So how is the stability is attained?
Half stable orbitals.
Half stable. Half filled.
Half filled orbital is more stable than.
Half filled orbitals are more stable than completely filled orbitals.
No, sir.
Ah,
Incomplete.
incompletely filled orbital. You say which is going to be most stable configuration? Completely filled orbital, more stable than half filled orbitals. Half filled orbital between D5 and D4, which is more stable. S1 is not considered to be half filled orbital. There is no other electron, not even electron orbital also. So that apart, Cu2 plus, would you consider Cu2 plus to be an electron deficient molecule or electron rich species? That is why I wanted to explain to you why ammonia in this particular case. Okay, let me complete this. Maybe I will ask you some more questions. These are all IIT questions. Now, this 4 moles of this to form Cu NH3 4 times. This is a compound that is formed here, 2 plus. We shall give you the IUPAC name later. This is called copper ammonium salt. Maybe you would have learned this particular observation experiment in the laboratory. Again, it's another question for the competitive examination. What is your observation? You write it. Have you noted down this? I'll come back to you. I have to prove that ammonia is going to be a Lewis base. Ammonia is going to be a Lewis base. Lewis base. What is the Lewis base? Electron donors. Why should ammonia donate electron to copper? Cu2 plus. Because Cu2 plus is electron deficient. Why is Cu2 plus the fact that you have got a positive charge? Any metal ion, cations will have attraction towards electron because it is positively charged, irrespective of the electronic configuration. Then what happened to your octet configuration? Okay, we shall take care of the octet also. Between Cu plus and Cu2 plus, which has got greater attraction towards electron? Obviously Cu2 plus. Higher the positive charge, higher the attraction. We have got one more explanation. Tell me why Cu2 plus has got greater attraction than Cu plus. The electronic configuration of Cu2 plus, 3D9, 4s0. What is the electronic configuration of Cu plus? 3D10, 4s0. Which should have attraction towards the electron? 3D9 only. Because after accepting one electron here, this converted into Cu plus, it becomes Cu 3D10. It should be a spontaneous process. And do you think the energy is going to be released or energy is going to be absorbed? Released. Why released? Because it's more stable. More stable. It was there less stable. Make a note of it. It was less stable. From a less stable state to the more stable state, energy is given out. It's a more spontaneous process. Between these two, which will have attraction towards ammonia, Cu2 plus or Cu plus? Cu2 plus only. Why Cu2 plus is considered as electron deficient molecule? Now you understand why Cu2 plus an electron deficient molecule? Yes. Now, would you expect your ammonia to react with Cu plus? No. This is already stable. It's not an electron deficient molecule at all, Cu plus. I also told you Cu plus is colorless, Cu2 plus is colored. Didn't I tell you? It is because of Number of unpaired electrons. Number of unpaired electrons. Okay, that apart. Now, did you understand now? Are you convinced that ammonia acts as a Lewis base in the formation of this compound? This is called cuprammonium compound. Cuprammonium. Cuprammonium ion. Cuprammonium ion. I did not write the anion at all. I told you, I'll give you one reaction which is repeatedly asked observation. You take copper sulfate 5H2O. What is the color of that particular substance, solid? Huh? Blue. Copper sulfate. It's called copper sulfate blue. Isn't it? You go and buy a material over there, you got different blue shades. Copper sulfate blue, sky blue, navy blue. Copper sulfate blue. It's a characteristic of copper sulfate. Copper sulfate blue. Copper sulfate blue. Now, you dissolve it in water. Whenever you want to dissolve, you don't write H2O there. We write AQ only. Because it's a physical phenomenon. It's not a chemical process. And what should you write here? Copper sulfate, AQ. That's all. Aqueous. Aqueous copper sulfate. What should be the color of aqueous copper sulfate? Again, blue in color. It is going to be blue in color. Now, you add ammonia aqueous in drops. Drop by drop. Add ammonia. This should definitely have met. Oh, I didn't tell you that. Added ammonia. What should happen? First, you get a deep blue precipitate. Much deeper than this color. Deep blue precipitate. Continue the addition of ammonia. Continue that. That precipitate dissolves. You get a clear solution. You get a deep blue solution. You add ammonium hydroxide drop by drop. Initially, let me take crystalline copper sulfate. I also told you, what do you call this 5 molecules of water? Water of hydration or water of crystallization, either way. They are called water of crystallization because they are responsible for the crystal. The moment you are going to remove the 5 molecules of water, you heat it. I can remove the 5 molecules of water, H2O, 5H2O. Then it becomes CuSO4. It's called anhydrous copper sulfate. Not only they are responsible for the crystal here, it's going to be amorphous. Amorphous means powdery nature. Amorphous. Amorphous. Therefore, but this is going to be colorless. It's not because of that unpaired electron. No, it's a different theory. One of the theories I told you, color of a compound is due to the presence of one or more unpaired electron. We have different explanation, different theories. Let's not go into that right now. So that 5 molecules of water are responsible for the crystalline shape. Therefore, water of crystallization, assertion and reasoning. What is the first statement I made? 5H2O in copper sulfate dot 5H2O is known as water of crystallization. Is that a correct statement? Yes. What should be the second statement to account for that? The presence of water 5H2O are responsible for the crystalline shape. Yes. The moment you remove that, it becomes a powder here. Therefore, water of crystallization. Okay. Now, this is going to be the situation. What happened? Let me write the chemical properties, chemical reaction. Chemical reaction for this observation. Write it. Reactions involved in that particular process. CuSO4, let me not include water, just CuSO4 alone, plus ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide. Double T composition. Double T composition. What should be the product? Ammonium. Oh, okay. Ammonium sulfate, one product. The other product is? Copper. Formula. Cupric hydroxide. cupric hydroxide plus ammonium sulfate. Good, very good. And cupric hydroxide is a precipitate. It is insoluble. We are going to later cupric hydroxide precipitate. Now let us assume, take it for granted, you are getting a precipitate. That is going to be a blue precipitate. Now you add ammonium hydroxide, CuOH twice, plus ammonia. I am not writing ammonium hydroxide, I am very careful. I have used ammonium hydroxide. It is also written as aqueous ammonia. And this is going to be ammonia. It is not the ammonium hydroxide that is going to be useful. We shall explain all these things. It forms what is needed now. What is needed now? The role of ammonia molecule. What did I tell you? What is the role of ammonia molecule? It acts as a Arrhenius base. It acts as a Lewis base. It acts as a Bronsted base. It acts as a Lewis acid. It acts as a Lewis base. Why? It is able to. Let us visualize that structure. We have Cu2 plus ion. It's a square planar complex. Put a square here, and in the corner you put nitrogen of ammonia. Nitrogen of ammonia. Maybe you may not understand head or tail of what I am writing now, but definitely it is going to be useful. We know, when do we put an arrow mark? Some of you have already learnt it. Coordinate bond. Coordinate bond. Coordination compounds. Coordination compound. It's a coordinate bond. Santanam sir also would have mentioned that. Coordination bond. And this is going to be, put the whole thing, you don't need to put Cu2 plus here, put a square bracket here, this is going to be, and what is going to be the outside here? We have taken sulfate here. Either sulfate could be the counter ion or hydroxide could be counter ion, depending on the nature. Because we have got the hydroxide as sulfate, counter ion. But, why is it soluble now? Why is it going to be insoluble? I can tell you now, this is going to be insoluble because crystals are tightly packed. Tightly packed. Water is not able to penetrate. Sodium chloride is soluble in water. Don't you get a Cardi white precipitate or silver chloride when you add silver nitrate to any chloride? Qualitative analysis. You take sodium chloride, add silver nitrate, you get a Cardi white precipitate. What is that Cardi white precipitate due to? Formation of silver chloride. Silver chloride is insoluble. Have you not heard of lime water turning milky? So one usual character, carbon dioxide. Why should it form milky? Because it forms calcium carbonate, which is insoluble. Then you should say, why calcium carbonate is insoluble? Now the crystals are tightly packed here, water not able to penetrate. And that kind of structure, we are going to attribute it towards lattice. Lattice is a kind of intermolecular of attraction in the solid state. Lattice is going to be lattice intermolecular attraction in the solid state. Tell me whether my statement is true. Higher the lattice energy, greater the solubility. Is my statement true or false? Higher the lattice energy, greater the solubility or lesser the solubility. The first one, yes, it's false. Higher, because they are tightly packed, water is not able to penetrate, I told you. In the case of lattice, solids with high lattice energy, water not able to penetrate, therefore it remains insoluble. Whereas in other cases, they are able to penetrate. Now, we have to say, this is going to be a covalent. You have already studied about the covalent compound. That does not require any further introduction to you. Electrovalent compound and covalent compound. Ionic compound and covalent compound, which are supposed to be more readily soluble in water. Ionic compounds are readily soluble. Now, whereas this particular compound, it's an ionic molecule. Now, you see, don't you have a cation and anion here? And what is the characteristic property of ionic compound? It should be soluble. Therefore, the deep blue precipitate dissolves. Assertion and reasoning. Why should it be soluble here? That cupric hydroxide compound is converted into an ionic compound. Therefore, it is soluble. Therefore, it is soluble. You are able to say? Repeat, tell me. Why is it soluble here? Why is it insoluble here?
It's a covalent
covalent compound, therefore lattice energy is
Very high, sir.
very high. This is going to be ionic compound. Ionic compound. Is that clear to you? Copper sulfate. Add sodium hydroxide. What's your observation here? Add sodium hydroxide. What is your observation here? And I have already given you the observation here. These two can be compared. And there is going to be a precipitate is formed here. The precipitate is formed, and the precipitate remains here. It has not dissolved. Even though you are going to add one bottle full of sodium hydroxide, it is going to remain here. What is going to be the reaction here? Copper sulfate plus sodium hydroxide, again a double decomposition. What should be the product? Tell me. Na2SO4 and then
Plus CU.
CuOH twice. As usual, it is in. Now, this is not going to react with NaOH here. No reaction. That is why it remains as this. Why is it not behaving as a thing? Because it does not form a coordination compound. It does not. Simply, ammonia is able to donate a pair of electrons more readily. The ammonia is going to behave as a Lewis base. Here, hydroxide ion is not. Why? Vishal. Now, you are able to compare now. Addition of ammonia dropwise, addition of sodium hydroxide dropwise. It forms a precipitate, and precipitate dissolves. It forms a precipitate, precipitate remains as a precipitate. Acidic character. Along a period, down a group, tell me, you should be able to. Now, these properties are very simple when compared to electron gain enthalpy and electron affinity, ionization energy. This is very simple. Tell me, what should happen along a particular period? Who knows the answer? Yes. Neither.
Increases across the period.
Increases. It decreases along the period, down a group. Correct. Why is it so? Why is it so? Do you agree with that answer? You don't agree with him. It increases along the period? No idea. It decreases? Remains the same? Yada or answer choliya?
Period, right, about non-metal.
Huh?
When you go across a period,
Metals are converted to non-metals. Therefore, what are acids here? Do they accept electron or donate electron? Accept electron. Lewis acids are electron acceptors. Isn't it? So, when you go from the metal to non-metal, do they accept electron or donate electron? Accept electron. So, the ability to accept an electron increases. When you compare from sodium and go up to chlorine, which is able to accept electron more readily? Chlorine. Therefore, acidic property increases. And acidic property decreases down the group. Which should I take? Which example should I take to explain? The acidic property decreases down the group. Tell me one beautiful example to explain this. The acidic property decreases down the group.
Basic property increases.
Give me one example. Halogens, wonderful. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Affinity towards electron. Isn't it? Affinity towards electron. What is the job of this halogen atom? They are prepared to accept electron. And what happened down a group in general? Affinity towards electron decreases. Therefore, acidic character decreases. So, when you are comparing the properties, fluorine is a stronger acid, write it. The acidic property, fluorine greater than, chlorine greater than, bromine greater than iodine. It goes by the electronegativity, not electron gain enthalpy. It goes by the electron negativity, iodine. This is going to be one important order. What is that we have written? Decreasing order of acidic character. Write that, mention that. Acidic character decreases. You react with a compound sodium, let's say, sodium reacts with fluorine, sodium reacts with chlorine, sodium reacts with bromine, and sodium reacts with iodine. What does it? What do they do? They snap the electrons, isn't it? Sodium is prepared to give one electron. Why should this? Because the electronic configuration of sodium is 1. Sodium is prepared to lose that particular electron in order to get the octet configuration. Which of these 4 elements is going to snap that single electron most readily? Fluorine, because it's highly electronegative. You don't say electron gain enthalpy. We have to take fluorine atom. We have to add electron, loosely bound electron. This is not the loosely bound electron here. It's already attached to sodium here. It's already attracted by the nucleus of this. What's the definition? Loosely bound electrons added to the last shell. Therefore, which property should you make use here? Electron gain enthalpy or electronegativity here? Electronegativity. Do you have HF, HCl, HBr in group 17? That's all. As simple as this. Why do you go to the compounds of those compounds? I am not interested at all. I am taking that elements only. What are the elements of group 17? That's all. Down a group. Which element, which example do you want to take? You want to take group 1 elements or group 7 metals or non-metals to compare the? Huh? Why metals? You have to take only the elements present. What are the elements present in first group? NaOH, lithium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. What are the elements present in group 1? Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium. That's all. Take those elements in the pure state. Why do you want to take NaOH all of a sudden? Just as she has said. I think he is being influenced by that particular answer. Sodium, lithium, sodium, potassium. Therefore, they are electropositive. So what? They have got ability to donate an electron. And electron donors is a basic property. Lewis base. Therefore, what should happen? Chalma, what should happen to the ability to donate electron? Down a group. Increases. Yeah. Down a group, lithium to cesium, it increases. Tell me one property associated with it. Why should it? Assertion and reasoning. It increases down the group. And what should be our second statement to make it as A? Ionization enthalpy is a property that is going to explain. Lesser the ionization enthalpy, greater the basic property or lesser the basic property? Greater the basic property. Lesser the ionization enthalpy, correct. Lesser the ionization enthalpy, greater the basic property. Okay, across the period. Obviously, if this increases, that should decrease. Isn't it? Is that the explanation? Why ionization? Basic property increases. Because basic property increases down the group. Therefore, basic property should decrease. Is that the explanation? Then what is that you want to say? Why should it increase along the period? Because ionization enthalpy decreases. Same explanation. Or electronegativity increases. Electronegativity increases between sodium and fluorine. Which is able to donate an electron more readily? Sodium, because sodium is electropositive matter.